I want to tell a story that took place the 1st of August. It should, I hope, make you proud that you are part of this movement. We had Ryla in August up at CSI. I had the privilege for the first time of going to Ryla, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. It's a combination, I decided, of church camp, because there was so much camaraderie and good spirit and great atmosphere. And I was very impressed with the 95 youngsters who were there. But I met 2 of them, one boy in a wheelchair, obviously disabled physically. He could speak, it was difficult to understand, but if one listened to him carefully, you could understand his words. His name was Jacob. He was being monitored and cared for by another young man that I later discovered was his cousin. I was impressed with a fellow that I eventually got to know as Court. Jacob, on the night of Saturday, when all of the youth had the obligation of putting on a talent show, Nancy Lemus, the director, told me, announced to the assembly that he was going to display a talent that they took for granted. A talent he had been working on for 3 years. Whereupon he announced that he was going to walk. He got out of his wheelchair, and I'm sure in an ungainly manner, he walked across the stage to the applause, the erupting applause of his fellows and the cheers. When Nancy told me that story, she was almost in tears as I am. And I thought, what a testament to the heart of Rotary that we would year after year sponsor that assemblage of young people and teach them leadership skills. They also, in that club, or in Ryla rather, emphasize the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do, which is precious to my heart. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We need to get that message out to young people because this country is in dire trouble. So, with that story, I'm going to ask Chris, who talked tonight about his commitment to young people, to tell the group about why you are a Rotarian, if you will.
Being put on the spot to a certain degree. One of the things that attracted me to Rotary is that it's a vehicle to do good things. And does anybody in here know what the slogan "Show Me State" means? Anybody? Missouri. I know that because I'm from Missouri.
And I like Missouri.
I like the idea of the slogan from the state of Missouri for "Show Me" because it started out a long time ago that if you want to show me what's going on, you know, if you don't tell me about it, show me in the action. So of course I say that and then I stop doing anything for a moment. One of the things that always struck me is the term "what if." We all have questions about what if, one thing or another. And what if I'd done a little bit better on the test? What if I did a little bit better in a job interview? What if I made a better decision somewhere? And with kids today, what if I can be involved with a kid that leans them towards making a better decision? Because there's so many pressures, I think, on kids today to make bad decisions, and it's really easy for kids to make bad decisions. And that being said, Rotary is a vehicle for what they do for children. If I can help one kid make a better decision, then that was a good day.
Nicole and I discovered that we're brother and sister. She has a Dutch name. My mother's name was Hollenbeck, so we both have that background. Nicole, talk to us about why you are Rotarian.
Okay. In high school, I was really involved in a program that used to be known as FHA, Future Homemakers of America. It's now known as FCCLA, so they can be politically correct. It stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America instead of Future Homemakers. Through that club, I was very fortunate. One of my best friend's mothers ran the club, so that really helped me get involved, and I couldn't be happier that I did. It gave me, in high school, it gave me a lot to look forward to. It gave me a sense of responsibility. The club does a lot of volunteer work. That's kind of what they're based on. I eventually went on to be the state president for the club, and that got me a scholarship before I had scholarship to college that I didn't take. I did go to college, but not that one. So I made a couple of goals when I left high school. One of them was to give back to that organization that gave so much to me. And I'm doing that. I now sit on the state FCCLA board of directors as the industry rep. The second thing that I vowed to do was always, well, I guess I'll leave that one for last. I wanted to mentor a kid somewhat like me. That's a whole nother story in itself, but in high school, my father got put in prison. And so I now, in a couple weeks, I actually get to meet my mentee kid that I will be mentoring, and her mother is actually in prison, so it's a little bit different. So those were two of my goals. My third one, which is the only one now that I haven't achieved, was to start a scholarship at my high school in my grandparents' name. I didn't have a lot of money growing up. My mom, did a ton for me. I was very, very fortunate to have 4 grandparents who did everything in the world for me. They helped me with college, they helped me with in any way they could. So I'm in the process of setting up a scholarship at my high school in my grandparents' name. I'm not sure we're going to name it yet because Veenendahl and Reynolds are two very opposite names and too long of a name. But that should be up and going by next year, and that will go out to a student at Valley High School that graduates. And my last one was to stay involved in community service. And actually you think that would be the easiest one, but I had a really hard time with that. I went to Boise State my first year of college, and I looked around for clubs to get involved in, and none of my friends were interested in that type of thing. So finally, one day I signed up for a club to go do, I think it was the Rake Up Boise type thing. And they actually got teamed with one other gentleman, myself, and the Vietnamese club. So I joined the Vietnamese club because they let me. And so I started going to their meetings. I asked if I could join. They kind of looked around, and obviously I was the only one not Vietnamese. But they were very friendly about it and let me join. And until I moved back to Twin later in the year, I did do some community service with them. And so Rotary is now filling that void there. I just did some research on Rotary on my own. Actually saw the billboard downtown that they were starting a new club, and I emailed maybe Nancy it was, I'm not sure who I got a hold of, and I said I'm ready. So I've about reached all those goals, and I'm very excited to get involved with Rotary. I've met a ton of great people since starting, so very excited, and that's why I've joined Rotary.
I know she doesn't look Vietnamese, but she does. Now, in talking to Ashley and Rusty, I discovered that we have something in common. May I tell them what we have in common?
Yeah.
Yes, he's a courageous man. He's been in a dress, and I have too. You know,
Tell that story.
at the Sunrise Club, here's what happened. Here's what happened. The sergeant at arms said, a week before Halloween, anyone who comes in a costume next week will be fine free. So I went running down to the Idaho thrift store and found this very nice gown. And on Tuesday morning, we're at Breakfast Club. The next week, I put on that gown. My wife gave me earrings, a purse. I put on my hiking boots. And I'm telling you, I was one of the ugliest women I've ever met. I was not fined that week. It was the following week. I was fined for causing nausea among them. So you want to tell your story? Okay.
Well, my story, the reason that I'm here today is because about 5 years ago I had a serious accident, work-related accident that very closely took my life. And after getting out of the hospital and getting mobility back in my body and kind of, it's a life-changing event when you're faced with that kind of a situation. And I realized that I didn't want to be a doubter anymore. I want to be a doer. I want to go out and do the things and fix the things that I see problems with the youth, with the community, and with the world. And like Chris said, Rotary is that vehicle. A beautiful park like this wouldn't be here without Rotary. It would be a condo. It would be something secluded for someone else. You can go throughout the entire nation and the world and see what Rotary has given to communities. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a person that sat back and doubted my abilities, that doubted my politics, that doubted my parenting. I wanted to start doing the things that I think should be done. It's often said that if you want to make a change, the first place to make a change is with yourself. And this is my change. I've committed myself to helping the community, to working with other Rotarians so that together we can make the changes that we know needs to happen. We see problems in the world like polio. Look at what happens when 1 million people get together and say, this is something that should not exist in our world. And we're almost there. In 10 years, I think we will achieve it. And that will be a disease that we no longer have to deal with as a species, as humans. It will be gone, it will be eradicated. And that's the power of Rotary, and that's what I want to be a part of. That's what brought me to Rotary.
Kathleen, you have a great club here.
I do.
And you have great supporters here, and so congratulations on your work.
We do what you guys do.